you've mentioned kind of anti-Zionism,
Mhm.
right? Is it possible that, and maybe this is just, me trying to educate myself, right?
Sure.
In earnest, right? Like, because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed about the historical nature of the conflict, right? And what is it? Two sides, and is there justification that I don't understand from years back, and the complications of things. And you talked a little bit about the establishment of a state of Israel in 1948 after World War II, and this Zionist movement for the creation of the state.
Mhm.
Is it possible that there's the state of Israel exists and it's not then aggressive and pushing settlements and checkpoints and oppressing at the same time? Can both of those exist in at the same time, or are both of them considered Zionist?
I mean, the short answer, and the shortest
Sorry
answer
if
is
that's not
no,
a
no.
very
It's a big question.
articulate,
And
clear answer. It's just something that I think
yeah,
has been brought up a couple times that I'm not clear on.
yeah. I think you are not alone in having those questions. I think that's a very common thing that we hear when organizing people who are, just less informed. Generally, everyone's got lives, right? Everyone's got something that they're working on, and it's very easy to not think about it because it's not openly a United States war. So it's not like when the U.S. invaded Iraq or Afghanistan and it was United States troops on the ground. Now, we do have troops on the ground in Israel. We have former troops on the ground in Gaza. We had, I believe, Marines or some other special forces who helped with the raid on the Nuseirat camp last year, attempting to rescue hostages, and led to the massacre of over 200 civilians in Gaza at the same time. The short answer to your question about whether the state of Israel could exist without, therefore, aggressing upon its neighbors is no. Israel as a state is established explicitly as a nation state for ethnic Jews. So it's enshrined in law. It's been further enshrined in law and judicial decisions in recent years that there are no voting rights or civil rights for Palestinians inside of the state of Israel, what they call 48 Palestine. And they continue to send settlements. Just earlier this week, Netanyahu was giving an interview talking about the project for Greater Israel, which actually includes land through the Sinai in Egypt up to parts of eastern Egypt proper, parts of Jordan, Lebanon, parts of southern Syria, extending into Iraq. The Zionist movement established the state of Israel as a settler colony. And it was not only done for Jewish people to answer the question of European anti-Semitism, but done hand in hand with European colonizers at the end of the 19th and early 20th centuries.
It was the British state of
so
Israel.
The British Mandatory Palestine was established after the First World War, when Britain and France carved up the old Ottoman Empire, and British Mandatory Palestine saw the first widespread revolts of Palestinian Arabs. You can look at the Palestinian Revolt of 1936 to 1939. So it's been a long-standing, over 100-year struggle for liberation from an outside colonizer. And there were attempts made at the time when Jewish settlers first arrived to coexist, to say, you're coming here, you're fleeing anti-Semitism in Europe, you can live alongside us, we can take you in.
And there was a Jewish minority there at the time, right?
Exactly. And there were Jews in that land prior, too.
That's what I mean,
it's not a 1,000-year-old conflict between Jews and Muslims. It's not a 1,000-year-old conflict between, Arabs and Jews. It's people deliberately went there with the intention to settle and expel. And whether they went there or if they went to another place that the Zionist movement, as envisioned by its founders, Theodor Herzl and Ze'ev Jabotinsky, chose, the intention was to expel the local population and to create their own state. And they only have what exists as Israel now because that is where they were stopped during the foundation of Israel in 1948, and then what they were able to seize during the war in 1967.
Mm-hmm.
So
the 6-Day War.
Yes. And so there is no Israel as a state without the settlement and the colonization.